Hey everybody. every time. But anyways, hey everybody. Today we're doing I lose if I ever have any sort of beginning point. The minute you laugh, it just goes out the window entirely.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to thoughtraid. Specifically, microphone, come over here. Get Naked Monday, where we get naked, because we are a life coach and a lay counselor, but we experience life just the way you guys do. So let's talk about that.
But I just want to point out it's metaphorical, not literal, when it comes to getting naked. Up to interpretation. Anyways. Well, hello, and welcome to Thought Raid, a show where we take on thoughts and find better ways of thinking about them. I'm Brandon, this is Tim, and today, again, is Get Naked Monday, where we metaphorically get naked and talk about things that are going in our lives and how we're handling them. But I want to throw this out here because one of the things we've been wanting to do is have more interaction with those who are watching us. So as we are talking about our week and how we're handling it, if you want to talk about your week and what you're going through, we're more than down to help you out with that. So anything that is specifically that's on your mind, if you've had a good week, you want to talk about that. If you had a bad week and you want to talk about that. Either way, it doesn't matter. We love to have the chance to just talk with you about how your week has been going, because this is where things get real. This is where we take back any kind of facades, and this is how you know that we're normal human beings, because one day, when Thought Raid does become big, and a lot of people do know about it, I want people to know that leaders go through their own sets of problems, and they're normal people, and they're just trying to figure life out every day. And I'm just tired of the sheer amount of people that forget when they get into leadership that they still have issues and they still have things they have to process through. A lot of people, they see someone that they admire, like maybe it's a celebrity, maybe it's a pastor, maybe it's your parents, and you just see where they've been and where they are currently, and you kind of miss all the steps that they took to get to where they're currently at. And that's something I want to try to reveal to you guys, is the steps that we're going through to get where we're currently at. Some things are very mundane and ordinary. Some things are a little bit more crazy and chaotic. But most of the time, there's just things people go through. And it doesn't matter what your position is, how long you've known God, you know, how strong of a Christian you are, or how holy of a person you are, or whatever. Everyone has mistakes that they make, and everyone has the trials and tribulations they go through, whatever. But anyways, all that said, that's the point and aspect of Get Naked Monday, is just to kind of make that apparent so that you guys know that we are humans.
Brandon, if you ever had a date with somebody or had a girlfriend or a wife, would it be safe to say that she's down with the brown?
In some context? That sounds really weird, though.
I thought about that as your opening. I don't know why.
Down with the brown. That's strange. That feels weird just coming out of my mouth.
Down with the brown.
It does sound a little weird.
Nothing really rhymes with Danach.
No.
Such a strange last name. A block with Danach.
A block with
Stock
Danach.
with the Danach. Flock with the Danach.
Flock
Anything
with Danach.
CK.
It'd have to be flock with Danach. But if you add the, then it becomes a little
Chock
bit
full of Danach.
Chock full of Danach. Yeah. Round with... No, that doesn't rhyme. I was going to say it's a D at the end of round. Sorry, I already failed.
Clown with brown.
Clown with brown.
Anyway.
Brown, Brandon Brown. I'm Brandon Brown, in case you're wondering.
So what have we been up to this week? We had a pretty cool thing happen yesterday. I've actually never watched anime with other people.
Which is surprising to me, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think I would have, because I worked in a video game store for many, many, many years. I had many, many, many friends in the video game and anime scene, I guess, that world. But it was weird, man. Like, I'm used to just plopping down in front of my computer or a TV or a laptop or whatever and just vegging out for 12 hours trying to finish a series. And it's like, okay, I'm done with this, and I just don't want to move, so I just click next, and oh crap, I haven't eaten in 20 hours. Let me like scrounge up some I got some chips in the drawer.
How do you do that? How do you go 20 hours without thinking about eating?
I don't know. I'm one of those people, man. When I get focused on a task, I focus on that task and everything else comes second. I mean, it's a good thing and it's also a bad thing. It can be a really damaging thing sometimes, but
well, I guess
it's a strength.
I have made it an entire day without eating. I did that kind of on accident. I wasn't intending on going a whole day without eating, but then it was a busy day and I forgot all that went into it. But I ended up not eating that day and I was like, you know what? I've never done this in my life. I might as well just complete the day without eating, and then I did. And people were like, the next day is really tough because you haven't eaten anything. And it was like, no, it really wasn't. Not for me. Again, I don't get hangry. So if I'm hungry, I don't really start to change mood. Sometimes I'm better mood when I don't eat than I am when I do, which is weird. I don't know why.
I've been trying more in the past year to show how I feel about things. And so before I would just like, if I was hungry, I wouldn't get hangry either. I would just be very passive aggressive with myself, especially.
Gosh.
It's like, I'm hungry, but I'm going to stuff this down because it's not Christ-like. I'm not a good person if I'm hangry. But now I'm just like, I'm feeling a little pissy. I'm going to let you feel it because, I need to get this emotion out. I don't know if that's healthy. Maybe it's not.
I don't know. Maybe there's a way of going about it. Like the biggest thing, at least the only thing I know that I try to avoid is I try to avoid having like passive aggressiveness because I know that no one likes that. And it's not honest. It's me being dishonest with how I feel. But being aggressive about it, at least you're letting people know how you feel and you're not being dishonest about that. So there's that much.
Yeah.
I think like saying like right now I'm hungry and I'm not in a good mood. And so, like, I just want to warn you about that. It's not you, it's me. Kind of thing might help. I don't know. Because then you're kind of, like, putting up a boundary, and if they continue to press you, then they know what they're getting into. Mm-hmm. It's not some kind of surprise or anything. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Maybe that's just a better way, but I don't know. My week has been interesting. It hasn't been bad. It's been a pretty good week. There's like one heavy thing that I've been kind of, like, thinking about, but this week I've begun thinking about work, so I've been putting a lot of effort into finding night shifts, because I figured if I get a night shift, third shift type of job, then we can continue doing things with thoughtraid, and nothing has to change, and I'll still get paid because I'll work when everyone else is sleeping. Mm-hmm. And usually third shifts get paid like an extra $1 or $2 per hour, so it works out great, and I'm already a night owl. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, ooh, seems like a win-win for me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I've been having fun with that. I found a job. I was driving down to get to here, and I saw, because, whenever you start doing something new, you begin to notice everything related to it. An Eames air conditioning and heating truck on the side of the road. I was like, and that's the place I'm really going to try to get a job, and there's like a dispatcher job that I really want to get.
Do you think you'd ever do something that involves manual labor?
That's a big debate right now because a lot of night shift jobs involve manual labor, at least with my current level of skills.
I don't know how to pick something up and put it over here.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that, but I'm trying to avoid it if I can because it's not my forte, and it's not my interest to try to force myself to get to a place where it becomes my forte either.
So when you say it's not your forte, do you just mean like it's uncomfortable and you're not used to that? Is it something that you don't want to do, or what? Well, what do you mean by it's not my forte? Because I doubt anybody is naturally inclined towards hard work.
Well, I mean, I feel like some people are more energetic and like to do more physically active things and may enjoy something of that more. I am not. I do not enjoy, just like you said, I don't enjoy the physical activities, the working out, all that kind of stuff. It can go to hell. I just learned how to get past that feeling of go to hell when it comes to at least physically working myself. But to do a job where I have to do it is a whole nother story. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's the degree that I'm willing to go up to. Like, if I were to be a night shift grocery store, like, food stocker person, I think I could get used to that. But if I were to be, like, a lifting 50 to 100 pounds level of something, I don't know if I want to get used to that. Mm-hmm. I feel like the only way that I would be able to do that is if they were to allow me to take my time. If I can take my time not a problem. But usually, I think with stocking jobs like that, where you're lifting heavier weights in a factory or what do they call it? Not a storage, but a warehouse. You have to. There's a certain pace you have to move.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And so, I don't have confidence that I would do good in that job. I will do it if there's nothing better for me to do. But if I can find something less physically demanding, I will.
Mm-hmm. Do you just not like doing physical stuff? I mean, you like going for walks.
Yeah, but that I can control the pace. I don't like doing physical stuff at someone else's pace. That's the thing. I had to do that throughout high school, middle school, all of my school years. I had to do physical stuff at someone else's pace.
Like what?
Running, lifting things, whatever. Any kind of exercise type thing. And I never really knew exactly what I was capable of or whatever. So I would try to go to someone else's pace, and it was just exhausting, and I hated it, and I hated how I felt, and I was not enjoying it, and there was other things I would much rather do. And so now I've learned to enjoy it because I can do it at my own pace. If I can move very slowly in my workouts, so that way I can endure the exhaustion of having to do 50 push-ups or something of that nature, I can handle that.
What if you had a coach?
That's someone else pushing me beyond my own desire to move at a specific speed.
Yeah, but don't you think that being coached is good? Because we do that. You and I do that with people's thought processes.
Well,
and they say, I want to be there, but there's work that's in between, and pushing them back past the point where they believe they can go. That's the point of a coach.
I don't like that. We got Kristen. Hold on. Let me go to the video so I can see. Make it bigger what you're saying, Kristen.
Kristen's the perfect person to talk about this, because hopefully one day she becomes a fitness instructor.
But it's so much fun to get buff. Ah, yes. So much fun.
Brandon, I'm just I'm saying, dude, you could easily do 50 push-ups. And I think it's they're on one side, it's I hate this sucks, this workout can go to hell, that whole process. But on the other side, it's actually, Ariane said something to me the other day that kind of stuck. And I don't know if we were having a disagreement or if I was just being a piss pot about working out. I think I was just being a piss pot about working out. But she told me that people, especially friends that we have that aren't making good efforts to work their bodies and put themselves in that uncomfortable place and disciplining themselves, because she was raised, her parents said, well, this is what you have to do. This was an expectation. And talking about exercise every day, getting your heart rate up to 140 for 20 minutes at a minimum, all that stuff. I was never raised with that. My expectation for exercise was, well, you signed up for soccer, you got to play the game, not you have to train. I remember one time we did inline skating, my cousin and I, Ryan, and he came over to our place. We stayed on a farm in Winston-Salem, Davie County. And so he was like, I'm going to go running. And that was completely out of left field for me. It's why are you going running? Oh, okay, you're training because you want to be better at inline skating. I've never done that before. And so I remember I ran maybe 100 yards and I started crying because he kept running and he wouldn't wait for me. He's like, dude, I'm trying to train myself to be better. I can't wait just because this is uncomfortable for you. I'm going somewhere. Are you going to come or not? And I was pissed. I was a really pissy 12-year-old. And I cried and I just walked back home. But when Ariane said, she said, our bodies are good now, the metabolism and the way that our bodies maintain itself, it's good now, but 20, 30, 40 years down the road, when all that's not as efficient as it used to be, people's bodies are going to start breaking down. And I don't want to be in that situation. The idea that my friends, and myself too, because I complain and I don't exercise as much as I need to, but the idea and the fact that their bodies are going to start breaking down, they're going to start getting things like heart disease and whatnot, it's very sobering. And it's well, what's the cost for that? And the cost is working out 5 times a week at a minimum and doing more than 50 push-ups. And it's just where we came from as far as examples, because it makes sense to me, but it still pisses me off that I have to do it.
I honestly, my goal is to not hate working out at all, because I've been in a place where I hate it entirely, and then I just don't do it. And so my goal is to wade into it until eventually I am doing all those things. But it's just, I don't know, I'm just leery of having someone in the realms of physical fitness, maybe not other places, because again, people pushing me in my mental processes or, doing certain degrees of work or whatever, that's no problem for me. But and I guess I have more confidence in those particular areas. But when it comes specifically to physical, it's just, I don't want that. I really, either it makes me anxious or it makes me just want to avoid it altogether. I'd rather slowly work my way up to where I need to be at my own pace, because I already do more than people my own age already. And that is good enough for me, honestly. I'm not trying to be the best physically. Yeah. I'm just trying to keep a consistent pace.
But I want to challenge that. What standard are you using to say this is what the average person at my age group or whatever, what standard are you using to quantify that?
I couldn't tell you exactly. It's just what I've observed. I've known people who just straight up don't eat healthy entirely, don't exercise at all, and I am beyond that. And I am beyond even the average level of, what my parents originally raised me in as well. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just my goal is to do it in such a way that I don't get discouraged and stop entirely. Mm-hmm. And I can't see myself going into that situation and not getting discouraged and stopping entirely, because I'm already feeling like I'm going to die in the process of doing this. And so, and I know there's a point of not enjoying the process in the beginning until I get to a specific level. It's just, I don't want someone pushing me in that area, because it's already hard enough to move myself. I don't want someone else pushing me beyond that, and then I just get overwhelmed, and I don't know.
So what if that what you're putting into it, that person pushing you and you getting pissed and just feeling like you're going to die and stuff, what if that was the price for you to not have heart disease at 40?
First of all, you would have to convince me that the life that I'm living is going to result in heart disease in 40 years.
Well, I mean, you could easily do that. You can look at body mass index and look at calorie intake. What are those little cereal bars you had?
No, right over there.
Yeah, just one of these things, man. Even though they're pretty good for you, a lot of these are saturated fat 2.5. This is 12% of your daily value in saturated fat. It's got 2 grams of protein, but it's also got 8 grams of sugar in this little bad boy. And it says serving 1 bar is a serving size. How many calories? 160 calories. On an allotted 2,000 caloric diet on average, which to lose weight, you're supposed to be in a caloric deficit. That would be 10 of these. So if you had 10 of these, your saturated fat for the day would be at 120% just in cereal bars. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know. I mean, I'm not perfect at it either. I'm actually really pissy about it. And I hate it too, but I'm just I don't know. I think I'm just getting to that age too where I'm more tired than I used to be. I mean, sometimes I stay up till 4:30 and then I wake up the next day. I'm like, my goodness, why am I so it takes me days to recover, But I don't know, the idea that even people our age group that are doing what they need to do, they still only fall even though they're above average when you compare them to everybody else. The dynamic of, I almost said Christian society, but the dynamic of American society is that even that upper echelon, the top 20%, are still only hitting 80% of what they need to do. That sucks, man. Just the idea that people would be working out 5 times a week and managing their diet, and they're still not doing enough to do what they need to do to be healthy.
That's the thing, though. It's I understand the importance of being healthy. I understand it and I'm not against it, and I'm always trying to make adjustments towards that direction. I mean, for instance, like I used to eat way a lot more than I currently do eat now, and I scaled back how many calories I eat in a day, which has helped me keep my weight at a better level. But at the same time, I've seen people who have not really put a lot of effort into what they're eating live a long time, and people that have die young. I've seen, like, there's no promise that this is going to absolutely translate into you're going to live a better life, and live longer, or whatever. Like, there's no perfect guarantee that's going to happen. I see the benefit, and I am moving that direction, and I don't question it. At the same time, I'm not going to stress myself over trying to be, like, do every little thing that they say I need to do in order for me to live the most healthy life possible. Like, I don't know. I've just seen too much for it to suggest that this is, like, I need to take it to the degree where I need to do all these specific things. I don't know.
Well, it's a lifestyle.
And at the same,
just like one thing.
At the same time, I have made adjustments as I've needed to. Like, for instance, when the pandemic hit, and I've been doing more things with thoughtraid, which has required me to be in front of a computer screen more frequently. I noticed my eyes were more blurry. And so I've taken precautions now that I've needed to get glasses to protect my eyes, to get more sleep to protect my eyes again. I've done different things, making adjustments because now I need to do this. Trying to preventively do it is a lot more exhausting than I need to do this too, which is another issue in and of itself. I don't know. I don't hate exercise.
I do.
But I hate...
I hate it so much.
But I hate someone trying to push me to do specific things in exercise. That I do hate.
Now, what if you had somebody and you went to them and you said, hey, my goal is to not have heart disease by the age of 40. And they pushed you based on what your goal was. Is that different?
I say that's not my goal. My goal is not to have heart disease because I don't even know if I'll have heart disease. So I don't know. Like, my family has had more of an issue with cancer than it's had with heart disease. Like, so I don't know. Like, and when it comes to, in terms of energy, like, I have generally a good deal of energy. Like, I go to bed and I'm immediately asleep. I wake up and I'm immediately awake. There's no, like, I'm exhausted in between unless I just really throw off my sleep schedule and don't get enough sleep.
Well, Brandon, it's just like the oil change thing. You remember our conversation about that from like 3 weeks ago? I was like, when was the last time you changed your oil? And you're like, gosh, I don't know. I've been putting that off. It's the preventative maintenance thing. It's not going to be one of those things where it's like, I mean, things are working fine right now. It's like my check engine light is on, but my car is working just fine. Well, dude, it's like there's a reason for those things, and there's a reason for preventative maintenance. I remember when I got my first car that I actually bought. I financed it. It was a 98 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Loved that car. It's so good. But they kept sending me these things in the mail that said, schedule your next appointment for preventative maintenance at X amount of miles. And it was like $300. And to somebody who's 20 years old, $300 is a lot of money, especially for something that doesn't fix a problem that I have, because I don't have a problem. But I was like, whatever, I'm not going to do that. And then several months go by, and then all of a sudden I start having leaky head gaskets. I start, I was driving one day, and my timing, the serpentine belt, timing belt, I'm not sure if that's the same thing. I think so. That snapped on the freeway. And so when I pressed the gas, nothing happened. I was just at a dead stop on the freeway. And that was one of those routine maintenance things. At like 100,000 miles or 75,000, you're supposed to have it changed. But it's just one of those things where until it's a problem, we're not focused on it because, well, everything's working fine as it is.
I mean, I get it. I understand what you're saying. I'm just specifically thinking about the prospect of a coach pushing me. That is what I'm specifically... I'd rather learn about it and figure it out on my own and work on it than I would someone trying to push me in doing specific things because they think I can do more or whatever. It's just like, yes, maybe I know I can. Yes, I can do more. Absolutely. It's just, at the same time... It's just, there's just a lot going on when someone is pushing me in comparison to when I'm pushing myself.
Do you think you have a problem with authority?
No. It's not a matter that I have a problem with authority. No. It's not. It has nothing to do with resistance to authority. At least not that I can see. It's just a matter of like it's just. I'd like to push myself into pain rather than someone pushing me into pain. Like, I'd rather walk into the pain that I'm going through rather than someone shoving me in there and making me stay down there longer than I want to, because it's just like, I know it's going to suck, but I know I'm not going to be able to, like, slowly work myself into that place, the pace I want to, because they think I can do more, and they're right that I can do more. I don't know, maybe if there was a coach that would allow me to move at a snail's pace towards it, but as long as I'm consistently doing it, then I'm fine with that. But so far, most of the coaches that I've had have wanted me to go at a much faster pace than I'm willing to go. I'm just not going to do it because it already sucks, and I'm not going to make it suck to the point where I don't want to do it at all, because I've already been in that place where I don't want to do it at all, and then I'm doing nothing, and I don't want to get to the place where I'm doing nothing.
So what if there's a catastrophe that they know is coming, and they're trying to help you avoid it?
These what-ifs are not helpful, Tim, because there is no catastrophe coming. There's no promise of catastrophe that's coming. The only catastrophe that has been promised me by God is that one day I will be in prison in Japan, for whatever reason. That is the only promised catastrophe in my life. Everything else, I don't know. You don't know. No one knows. It could. Statistically speaking, it could. It doesn't mean it will. Mm-hmm. Again, I've known old farts who have had nothing but like microwavable meals and cookies.
Were you gonna say shit?
No, in this case I actually wasn't. And they didn't have no cancer. They didn't have no problems. I have an aunt who ate a bunch of fried food, died in her 90s, no heart problems, died in her sleep. Like, there's no guarantee of that. Just as much as it is possible, it is also not possible at the same time. There's no guarantee. So I don't want to prepare for something that may not happen. I know it could. I know it could happen. I just know that it's good to be healthy. And it's good to push myself to be more active. And it's good to eat healthier. I get that. There's physical results of better energy, a better looking body, everything when I eat healthier and I'm more active. Mm-hmm. And so I can work with that. Like, there's no question on is it beneficial. Yes, it is. But to prepare myself for potential cancer, heart disease, whatever, I cannot motivate myself with those what ifs. Just me. I can't. Maybe you can. I can't.
Mm-hmm. Well, you motivate yourself with the what ifs when it comes to other things, because we're talking about like catastrophes and calamities and things that might happen and preventative maintenance and stuff. And with stuff up here and in here, with people, especially in certain aspects of that, like identity and the pornography and homosexuality, like that arena, and living in truth and all that stuff, like you see that there is a cost associated with not being prepared, not being healthy in those areas. Mm-hmm. And so you say, okay, well, this sucks, but I'm going to do this anyways, because what's on the other side, like being prepared and being preemptive about avoiding these issues or being as healthy as possible in this area, that's worth it. That's worth the crap, right? But for some reason, the mechanism in your mind hasn't kicked in for the preparatory health stuff, because it's the same thing. It's the exact same situation, just in a different field.
But the reality is, you can see results of specific lifestyles of living when it comes to allowing certain sins in your life. There are very clear outcomes with that. It's visible. When it comes to my current level degree of healthy living, not so apparent about what could or could not happen. I don't view it as entirely apples to apples. Again, I'm not saying that there is no value to it and that it can prevent those things. What I am saying is that I feel like people overhype it. Because, I don't know, and maybe this is another thing, welcome to Get Naked Monday. Part of me also doesn't trust people like that, honestly. Because I see those type of people, and now I'm putting people into a box, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Here are my biases in my own mind. I see people who are very focused on physical health ignore mental health, or I see oftentimes, it has been my experience, this is not always the case, but I've just seen people, because of the chemical reactions when you're physically working out, of endorphins, of dopamine, of serotonin being released, I've seen, and this is not always the case, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen more people ignore other unhealthy habits, but yet they're very big when it comes to physical health, and that's bothered me as well. And I've heard people like say, well, you can get rid of certain emotions if you work out more, or whatever. Like, this working out can help you get past anxiety and things of nature. And yes, that's true, but it's also not always the case. I've done workouts and I still feel anxious. I still feel upset about something. It didn't make me, now I just feel exhausted more than I feel anything.
Now, when you say you've done workouts, have you done workouts on your own, or have they been workouts where you had somebody that was trying to encourage you and push you?
I mean, granted, it's been on my own to take care of certain emotions. I'm talking about specifically in the circumstance of taking care of emotions. When I'm trying to do some sort of workout to get my mind off the issue, it didn't help. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about, again, being pushed to do certain types of workouts. I'm not talking about that.
Well, it's just like people that lean into mental stuff and they say, oh, I prayed to God about this issue and it didn't help, before they know what their relationship with God looks like. There's so many people like that too.
Yeah. But I don't know.
And also, you were talking about the, and I'm just playing the devil's advocate because I like poking the ogre.
You're poking it real good today.
I love it. I love it. Getting you riled up is one of my favorite things. I'm sorry. But you were talking about with stuff of the heart and issues of mental capacity and talking things out and whatnot. There are visceral responses and visceral change you can see. But when was the last time you had your cholesterol checked and your blood pressure and you did blood work and all that stuff?
I couldn't tell you. I hadn't had health insurance in the longest time.
Yeah, and you said, just using what you said as an example, you said, when I do this stuff, talking about working out and eating healthy and stuff, I don't see a change. Well, it's like you're not looking, because you're looking, like, how do I feel? Oh, okay, I mean, I can get up and I can wake up when I want to wake up and go to sleep, but you're not looking at the other stuff. Like, what if your arteries are clogged? What if... I mean, there are all these things. Oh, what if your sodium levels are high? These things are crammed with sodium, for instance. 140 milligrams in this one. Actually, that's not too bad. But what I'm saying is, kind of like mental stuff with us and the coaching and counseling that we do, a lot of people don't ask themselves all the pertinent questions. Like I was doing the ad for Break the Meta, and on some of the questions were like, I forgot exactly how I worded it, but it's like, if you could choose, what would you change in your life? And some of the questions or comments were like, I don't like my relationships. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I feel like I'm not valued in specific ways. I don't like the direction of my life. And some people never stop and ask themselves those questions because they don't want to go through the process of doing so, or they probably won't like the answers, much like somebody who's saying, well, like me a year and a half ago, you know what? I don't like exercise. Ariane, you go to the gym and I'm going to stay home because you're pushing me, right? That was our conversation, right? But if I'd gone to the doctor, and I have gone to the doctor, and I'm going for more evaluations pretty soon, it's like, I don't want to test these answers because I'm probably not going to like them. How healthy am I really? And I try to stay active and I limit what I eat. But dude, like yesterday, I had that little bit of ramen, like the Maruchan or Top Ramen. I had one of those, and then I had 5 slices of Little Caesars pizza and some chocolate, and it's like, my goodness, I'm putting this in my body, But I'm not willing to go to the doctor to say, hey, do my blood work. How healthy am I really? Because honestly, that scares me.
Well, it doesn't necessarily scare me. It's just I haven't thought to do it, and 2, I don't know exactly how much it would cost to do that.
Yeah, I don't either.
There's some other things physically that I do think about. Like, it's not like I'm not aware of these things because I grew up with 2 overweight parents. Mm-hmm. And so eating healthier has been something that has been on the family's mind all of my life. Like, all of my life. I've grown up with this diet and that diet, eating this way and that way, and so I'm not ignorant to any of these things. I do think I could probably eat a little bit more healthier than I'm currently at right now, because I've allowed myself to eat more fried food than usual. But anyways, in general, and the reason why I haven't thought about it is because I've been controlling how much I eat, and so that's why I haven't thought about it. I've been thinking, like, if I don't keep eating, did I just stop? Whoop, goodness. Anyways, then is it truly an issue? But I guess it would, yes. I still need to control what I eat, though. Anyways, I guess everything I've thought in relation to, does it gain weight? But there are other aspects. What was I saying? What was I going with this direction? Just being regularly aware of it. I haven't gone in. I'm not afraid to have that checked. I just don't know exactly how to go about it when you don't have health insurance, and it would cost money to go to a normal doctor at a clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's some ways they could go about that are cheap or free.
Yeah, like the whole biblical thing of taking care of your temple or whatever, I've never truly understood what that means, because you think that certain things would be outlined in the Bible. Like the life would be so much simpler if to the T how we should live was outlined without the need for interpretation. That would be, gosh, that would be so much easier. Anyway, so, like, what exactly should be the standard of health? What should exactly be the standard of exercise and all that stuff? Because I guess culture is different from biblical times now, because it's so much easier to sit in front of a screen or sit on your phone and not go plow fields and stuff. It'd probably be a lot different if I had to wake up at 6 a.m. and, mess with oxen and, hose and, shovels and hose.
Shovels and hose.
Hose is just such a fun word to say. And, was doing that and then getting all sweaty outside and then, walking around all the time. I'm sure I'd be in a lot better shape, and there was less processed stuff back then because they would just eat stuff that grew out of the ground instead of gone through factories and had preservatives and crap in them. I don't know. I'm really curious as to what the golden standard for that would actually look like.
I don't know, but you have got me thinking, if I can find a way that I could cheaply do an exam, a physical exam, blood work, all that kind of stuff, see how I am, I would be down to do that again, because then I can reevaluate what I should be doing. Mm-hmm. And then it would be a matter if I need to find... See, it's not that I'm 100% against having a coach or someone helping me in that area. It's just a matter of I haven't felt it necessary to do so. Because where I'm currently at, I haven't seen myself to be overly unhealthy. And there hasn't been any kind of physical signs that I have that I've noticed personally. Because the last one that I had with me increasingly more and more weight, I've dealt with by reducing how much I eat and when I eat. So I haven't thought about it. But I am now considering at least a physical exam to see how things are going in general.
Yeah. Like something that was kind of sobering is they have these charts we go to LA Fitness, and they have these charts that show your age, your height, and your weight, and what the average is. I guess the average is done based on studies and whatnot. I'm sitting here, I'm like thinking, okay, well, I've cut back on, I don't drink soda hardly ever at all, and if I do, it's diet soda, so there's no sugar in it. There's just like, I forget what the sweetener is, but it's got that. So I've cut back on soda. I drink mostly water now. I don't eat a ton of sugary things. If I want something sweet, I eat fruit normally, or a smoothie. We have a lot of chicken and vegetables and whatnot. And I've been working out routinely, and then I was like, okay, well, let me see how I'm doing. I weigh 175, and at 5'9"-ish, up for debate. Sometimes I'm 5'10", depends on how I feel representing myself. The healthy weight for my age group is like 155 to 160. So I'm actually 15 pounds obese. And I mean, I look pretty lean, I got some of this, but it's like the stuff that you see on the outside isn't as big of a deal. Like a lot of the fat you don't see it here. You see it on your arteries and in your veins and stuff. And that's where a lot of that weight and whatnot comes from. I mean, I'm not perfect with it either, but it was just like, man, I do so much better than most people too, and I'm still overweight. Is this just some ridiculous standard? Or is just our society as a whole, just the cultural expectation of what's good and healthy is overweight?
And at the same time, though, then you have to grapple with the fact of, like, is there some specific standard or something of that nature in the first place? Because just, like, we know that before, I would say, like, before, like, the change, like, there was, like, the, there's been changes in health standards and stuff, and the average life expectancy has increased in general from, like, I don't know, 50 to, like, 70, almost 80 in some places. So just, there's so many factors that go into it. It's like, I get it, I understand it, and I know that I need to make sure that I'm exercising so that way I can maintain my mobility and make sure that there's no things clogging my arteries by eating healthier, controlling how much of my sugar intake I have, carbs, stuff of that nature. But I've seen so many ideas of what that standard is flip-flop around. You go between, like, fats are really bad, so then people move towards away from fats, but then it wasn't as bad as people expected, and then moved back to it. Like,
that was a big thing in the 90s. They said that eggs were bad for you, so my family stopped eating eggs, and like 10 years later, it's like, no, eggs actually are not bad for you.
See, that's the thing. It's just like, where's the line? Like, it's like I get it. I understand the importance of eating healthy and the importance of exercise and not overeating. But then there comes a point where it's just like, I feel like people just get way overboard with it. Like, we're all still going to die, some shape, way, or form. Death is inevitable.
Some of us are going to get raptured. I don't know
unless
if you're
we
on
get
that
raptured,
boat, Brandon, but I'm totally on that boat.
I'm on that boat too. But unless you get raptured, you're going to die, and there's no way to prevent the inevitable just degradation of the body due to entropy and sin. So it's just like, I don't know. I get it. But there's a scripture verse that backs up. There's a point to eating healthy and all that kind of stuff. But then it immediately puts spiritual living and all that kind of stuff way above that. Because at the end of the day, no matter how good of a body you have, once you die, you're gonna have a better body that doesn't need all the same things, presumably at least.
So why don't I just take my life now so I can have that?
No.
I mean, that's a fair question.
No, yeah, I know.
If heaven's so good, and if this amazing body is in the life after, if I'm truly a Christian, why don't I just?
No. You want to maximize your time here.
Why?
For the sake of helping others. It's about others focused than self focused.
Yeah. Like,
the purpose of life, I feel like, really comes down to helping others more than anything. Like, helping them when it comes to living better lives.
Eating well, exercising more than they think they could.
Yeah. Getting closer to God, taking care of your spiritual well-being, all that kind of stuff. We're here for each other. And to know God. And to just work on our own selves and stuff. Like, it's not what we can get. It's not the jobs that we have, although those are nice things, or the money we have, or things of that nature. It's each other, and it's God. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. So I don't know. I get it. It's just, I've been concerned that it's just like, I wonder if people over-focus on the physical health, and they under-focus on personal health. You know, like, how are you doing on the inside? How are you doing when it comes to addiction? How are you doing when it comes to loving others and loving yourself and loving God? How are you doing in these particular areas? Because that is what's going to translate into heaven. Mm-hmm. This body is going to go into the ground and become mulch, essentially fodder for plants. Mm-hmm. But spirit will not. It will live on eternally, and that's what's most important to me. And pickles are bad for you. What?
Pickles are delicious, man.
They are.
I love them so much.
I love it. Just dip it into, what is it, vinegar? A cucumber into vinegar or whatever. Let it soak. Becomes a pickle.
Well, I mean, there's other stuff too, but we're not having Thought Raid this Friday because my family's gonna be doing some stuff for Father's Day. But do you know what we're doing?
What?
I'm really like, it's one of these moments, Brandon. We're going on a family run. Oh. And when my father-in-law goes on a family run, we're talking like 5 to 10 miles.
Oh God. Oh no.
And so it's like, I know I shouldn't complain, and I'm not going to, but I'm like, I really hope I don't lag behind. I hope.
I would just go with the resignation that I'm probably going to be last place, and that's okay, because God, I'm not going to try to keep up with people who do that more regularly. No, thank you. That's the whole thing again, going back to doing things at someone else's pace. No, I already don't like it. I'm not going to go at your pace. You want me to do this, I'm going to do it at my pace. Deal with it.
But what sucks with that, Brandon, imagine like you and I are 70, and we get called to go to Kona, Hawaii for a speaking engagement or something, and then it's like, okay, well, we've never been to Hawaii before, let's go on this hike around this mountain, and it's like, it's just you, me, and guide, maybe like 3 other random people. Like, what if you got to the point where you're like, I don't think I can do this, and we're like not even to the mountain yet, and you start trekking back? That would suck. I want you to be able to go on hikes and do cool stuff and actually live life instead of just saying, I can't.
Bold of you to assume that that's something I'd want to do in my 70s.
Something I'm going to want to do in my 70s. I mean, maybe this relationship is just not meant to work out that long.
Wow! I doubt that.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, man, I'm setting the standard here. Are you going to rise to it?
The fact of the matter is, it's just like, I don't care about those things as much either. Even in my 20s, I don't care about those things. Like, I don't look at the mountain and think, man, I can't wait to scale that. Like, I don't have a bone in my body that could give a care. I only care because other people like it. Other than that, I don't really, like, there's some things I enjoy. I love my walks, and if you don't mind walking with me through the mountains, I'm fine. But if you think that I'm going to try to keep up with you, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go at a consistent pace, and when I get there, I'll get there. I've always been the kind of person that when I get there, I'll get there. Mm-hmm. You can't make me go faster, you can't make me go slower. And who knows? Maybe I will be able to keep up with all that by that point, and I would not have done as much as you've done to be able to do that. I don't know.
Maybe technology would advance so you have one of those little like floating carts like Dr. Eggman or whatever from Sonic.
Maybe.
Just float around.
Yeah, because I can recognize, like, I can move and I can see myself going, and so I can slow down even further, but then I'm still going to get there. I went on a hiking trip to Stone Mountain 2 years ago, and I was not, even though I do not exercise as much as the people that were there, because I was there with your wife, for instance, I was still able to keep up with everyone. There was like one person that was lagging behind me, and she was not a gamer. I think she was more of a bookworm, but I still was able to get up there with everyone. No problem. Like, it wasn't a problem. It slowed down because I want to take pictures of every little thing along the path. There was that. Mm-hmm. But I was able to keep up.
Yeah. So all this to say, just when Ariane said that the other day, it just really made me think about the perspective of people I live my life with. And just, I don't know, man, the idea that we're all moving along side by side and we're doing life together, and there's going to be a point where somebody's body starts breaking down before the rest of the group, That makes me really sad. Whether it's cancer, whether it's, I don't know, plaque on your heart, whether it's like whatever. Like, I think about Alex because he's got a lot of medical issues, And it's like his body has a tougher time already keeping up with this.
Yeah.
And so he has to exercise unique precautions just to keep up. And that's how it's going to be for some of us if we don't change certain things about how we view, eating habits, exercise, sleep for me, whatever. I don't know. It just made me sad.
Yeah. So it's on my mind. It's not like, oh, I'm never going to do this. It's just at the moment, my main goal is just to remain moving forward and slowly increasing my own pace when it comes to working out and stuff, so that I don't hate it and then just revert to not doing it again. Like, I don't want to do that. I've done that before, and God did. There was a moment in a time in my life when I was still living in Clemens, where I was just laying on the floor feeling bad about myself. I didn't want to go to the gym or anything, and God was like, you can sit there and you can feel bad about yourself, or you can get up and do something about it. And that was a very pivotal moment for me. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get up and start doing something about it. And since that point, I'm not afraid to do those things anymore. It's just, I don't know. It's just specifically, maybe if I can find a coach that is able to work with me in the pace that I go, that pushes me to do more, but not faster, just more, I could work with that. I think I could work with that. If the goal is not to do it faster, but just to be more consistent and do more, I could do that.
I wonder, I think it was last month, Eric told me that he was going to do 1 push-up a day extra until he gets to his goal. I wonder if he's been consistent with that.
I don't know.
Because it was like, I'll do 1 today, and then 2 tomorrow. I was like, you're going to do 1 push-up today? 1? You're going to start at 1? But, I mean, everybody's got a starting point.
Yep.
That's like, by now, what is that, like 2 months? So he'd be doing 60 push-ups a day now?
I guess so.
Gets to a year and doing like 365 push-ups a day.
I would not do that.
Eric, if you're watching, I'm really curious as to whether or not you've been consistent.
We need to know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, all that to say, I guess, in closing, it'd be really a shame to have to put you down one day, Brandon.
Why are you already anticipating putting me down?
That's where my head goes, man.
I'm not going down anytime soon. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. It's been a lot of fun. We broadcast every week on Monday, Friday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we will not be live this Friday, as we'll be celebrating...
10-mile run, apparently.
Tim will be on a 10-mile run. Pray for him. Pray for him also not to feel bad if he lags, that it's okay and he's doing the thing. That's what's most important. And but we will not be live that Friday, but we will be live Saturday. So you'll want to be there for that. What are we going to talk about on Saturday?
We're talking about Enneagrams on Saturday.
We're talking about Enneagrams on Saturday.
What is your Enneagram number?
You need to tell us on Saturday. So do the test. Tell us what your Enneagram is. Write it down. And then tell us on Saturday what it is. We can talk about that, okay? Do it. This is my request to you. There you go.
So Brandon and I are going to be discussing what we are, whether or not the whole Enneagram thing makes sense, and if it's true, and how we've navigated figuring that out.
Yes. So you'll definitely want to be there for that. So thank you guys for watching. If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to like, make sure to comment, tell us what you like about this whole stream, and to subscribe and hit the bell notifications that when we go live again, you'll know.
I see a potential in my eyes. I see a potential. I never lost sight of the reason why you're alive. You're alive. You're alive. We sing Jesus.